Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be surprised. Even in Mpumalanga, we have a constitutional court of our own. So please welcome our constitutional court bench of so many judges. We wish to welcome you today to this celebration, wherein we are acknowledging or celebrating the 100 years of women in law, and also honoring our Judge President, Judge Mphahlele. It is a great honor for me to have to run this program with you. Very soon we will be done. We don't intend to keep you held here for longer than 2 hours. There are some special guests that I just wish to acknowledge. The rest of the other guests we will be acknowledging as we run through the program. And I do trust that Advocate Mphahlele will also help me in this regard. But I just wish to acknowledge the presence of our Speaker, the Provincial Legislature, Mphahlele. She is here with us. Ma'am, you may wave to the gallery from where you are. There you go. Thank you so much. I also wish to acknowledge the family members of our Judge President, Judge Mphahlele, who are here with us. I'm told it is a good entourage of you. From wherever you are, can I ask if you can just rise so we welcome you the Mpumalanga way? There you go. You are our very special guest, and we welcome you here in Mbombela. Without any waste of time, I would be asking Advocate Mphahlele, who is the chairperson of SAWLA, that is South African Women's Lawyers Association here in Mpumalanga, to set the tone of this meeting and maybe talk a little about the purpose of the day. Advocate Mphahlele, over to you.
Program Director, Honorable Acting Deputy Judge President T.V. Chibumo, our guest of honor, Honorable Judge President S.S. Mphahlele. Honorable Speaker of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, Ms. Mphahlele, our keynote speaker, Honorable Judge L.D. Vukaya, the first woman to be admitted as an attorney in Mpumalanga Province, Mrs. Delia Kusier, who is joining us virtually, members of the judiciary, the President of the South African Women Lawyers Association, Ms. Nomaswazi Shabangundawe, Advocate T.L. Ramatikiti, the Provincial Head of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, members of the legal fraternity, distinguished guests, on behalf of the South African Women Lawyers Association in Mpumalanga, I greet you all. Today marks a monumental occasion as we gather to celebrate a century of progress, dedication, and resilience in the legal profession. We are gathered here to commemorate 100 years of women in law and to honor President Mphahlele on her appointment as the leader of the judiciary in the province and also the leader also in the Mpumalanga province. We say we appreciate that. It's a day not just to commemorate the milestone of 100 years of women in law, but also to reflect on the strides made in transforming our legal landscape and empowering society. Today, we therefore celebrate not just the past, but we also celebrate the present, and we remain optimistic for the future. 100 years ago, the doors of opportunity in the legal field were firmly shut to women. But through the unwavering determination and advocacy, women fought tirelessly to break down those barriers. They were barred because they were not regarded as persons. Women were said they cannot practice law because they were not regarded as persons. We're excited to say that we stand on the shoulders of great women lawyers, women like Victoria Mphahlele, Desiree Finger, Sisi Gool, who fought tirelessly to ensure that their right to practice law was awarded or was given, was acceded to. The courage paved the way for a generation of female lawyers who have championed equality, human rights, unfair discrimination, and a more just society. We're grateful to Advocate Irene Geffen, who became the first woman advocate in South Africa after the Women Legal Practitioners Act was promulgated in 1923. Hence, we are here today to celebrate this moment in terms of the legislation that we've mentioned. Thank you to Ambassador Bridget Mabandla, the patron of SAWLA. In 2006, she saw it fit that there was a gap in terms of the voice for women lawyers, and she established the South African Women Lawyers Association once she was the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. We honor Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, the Chancellor of University of Mpumalanga, and the former President of the Supreme Court of Appeal for reminding us about the importance of hard work and that we must never fear to push boundaries within the legal field. We celebrate you, Judge Mphahlele. We know that you've also shattered the glass ceiling in the international arena by defending human rights as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. And we also celebrate Mrs. Delia Kutse, whom I've already mentioned, for being the first women attorney in Mpumalanga and for running a successful legal practice in the 1980s whilst raising young children. These are just some examples of great women lawyers who made a positive contribution in the legal fraternity and society as a whole. I am sure that all of us present here today know one woman lawyer who has pushed the boundaries, who has made a positive impact in society. I may not be able to mention all of them, but we celebrate all those women whom we could not even mention here today. I also want to indicate that, or mention on behalf of SAWLA, that we also thank our mothers and fathers who made sure that some of them had to sell vegetables to make sure that we get the best legal education as women lawyers. We thank our fathers who also made it possible that they had to go to work in mines and all to ensure that we got the education, legal education that we are enjoying today. Some of you would know that Mpumalanga is predominantly a rural province. So you can therefore imagine the struggles that were faced by our parents to ensure that we got access to education. I must emphasize that our celebration today goes beyond gender equality. It is also about the broader goal of transformation and empowerment. It's about empowering the marginalized and vulnerable groups, including the LGBTQI+ community, persons with disabilities, and persons that are socio-economically disadvantaged. We understand also, Program Director, that the agenda for the emancipation of women involves progressive men. As SAWLA, we acknowledge that we can never achieve transformation without the involvement of our male counterparts. And we are humbled by the continuous support that we get from our male colleagues. In honoring the achievements of women in law, we must also acknowledge the significant role played by individuals who have dedicated their lives in advancing the cause of justice and equality. Today, we have the privilege of honoring one such individual, who is Judge President Mphahlele, who has been in the legal profession for almost 3 decades and has held various leadership positions in the judiciary since 2013. And we thank you for continuing to play a meaningful role in dispensing justice and for the empowerment of legal professionals through training sessions, webinars, as well as imparting your skills through the Judicial Skills Program. We know that through your involvement, some colleagues are judges today or are magistrates or are excelling somewhere. We thank you for that. And we also appreciate that you are also at the helm of the South African chapter of the International Association of Women Judges as the Deputy President. This is something that must also be appreciated because it serves as an inspiration for everyone out there, including young people and the student chapter who are also present here today. JP Mphahlele, we will always cherish the wise words you imparted to us during our 2022 Provincial AGM regarding the importance of being our sister's keeper, and that we must play a meaningful role in making sure that lawmaking in our society will also be influenced by the role that we play as women lawyers. I remember one day you even said, SAWLA, I think your silence is deafening. You need to play a role in terms of making sure that in terms of practice directives and any other legal instrument that requires the involvement of the voice of women lawyers is heard through you. We appreciate that, Honorable JP. Honorable JP, again, we would like to indicate that your journey is a powerful symbol of progress. As part of the legal community, SAWLA says, we stand with you as you lead the Mpumalanga division of the High Court with wisdom and unwavering dedication to the law, appreciation of the important and advancing transformation as well as the promotion of justice. As I conclude, let us never forget the true measure of our success. That it lies not how far we have come, but in how far we have yet to go. Therefore, let all the past 100 years by actively shaping a more inclusive future. That is mental young lawyers, men and female alike. We do understand that transformation, women are also at the forefront of transformation because they see that what that needs to be done. That's something that also needs to be attended to. We also would like to say that we need also to play a role to find the stage of gender-based violence and femicide. Crimes against women and children, as well as other social skills. In doing that, this will ensure that the legal profession and a beautiful country South Africa becomes a symbol of hope and inspiration amongst other nations. Together, we can build legal systems that is not just for some, but for everyone. We are therefore excited for the future. Program Director, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Advocate Mphahlele. I made another taking that in no more than 2 hours we'll be out of here. That is subject to all the speakers sticking to the time limit. You will realize that most of us, we are allocated only about 5 minutes. And if any speaker would be exceeding that 5 minutes, you will just hear the sound of a gavel from behind. Then you will know that the time is up. And there are some guests that I will be acknowledging as we carry on. Of course, the most important of the guests, I've acknowledged a family already. It's none other than the lady seated to my left here, the Judge President herself. And also wish to acknowledge the presence of the President of SAWLA, Ms. Shabangu Ndawe. You can wave from where you are. There you go. Thank you. We're also looking forward to hear you talk. And you may have heard of the men who fully support the vision that SAWLA stands for. You will hear some of these as they talk as we carry on. And my apologies on behalf of the division for you seated there in the heat. I can assure you, especially the family members of our Judge President, you could be seated there feeling very sorry for the JP. That is, she really working in these hot conditions. She's like she's working in the mines. But for your information, these aircons you see up here, they have been working very well up until last week. As to what happened, it's a long story. Cable theft. We are trying what we can do, but I think some of our colleagues here, we have to start asking who gave the wholly suspended sentence to the culprit for cable theft. We need to engage on that. That's on a lighter note, although it has some truth therein. We will therefore be moving to get messages of support. And to kickstart this, it's none other than the Chief Magistrate for this province, Chief Magistrate Ms. T. Tonjeni. The floor is yours, ma'am.
This invitation, and yesterday afternoon, and I was told, I was asked that I should say something within 5 minutes. I thought to myself, I will try the 5 minutes. The doors of the magistracy. It is still Easter, and I happen to be one of the readers at church on Thursday, Holy Thursday. And part of my reading was about creation. Now, on the 6th day, what the Bible says is that God made human beings in their, that is the Trinity's image, to be like them. In the image of God, He made them, male and female. Then He blessed them, told them to be fruitful and to multiply, to fill the earth and govern it. Therefore, it is not by fluke that we are here today to celebrate the centenary of women in law. Patriarchy almost robbed the world and this country of the wisdom of women.
Women are pretty special in their nature. They are naturals, they are resilient, and they are compassionate and gentle. And they are very able and capable. Exactly what we need in our judgment seats. Judge President, you have made us proud as women. You followed exactly what God created you for. To lead and govern. We salute you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Magistrate Konjeni. It is indeed so that there are women who are leading and governing, and they lead by example. Some of us, and I'm talking for myself as an individual, some of the people who were my role model in the legal profession as I grew up happen to be women. And I'm very proud to confess to that. On that note, we will be calling on Advocate Ramatikiti, who is the provincial head here in Mpumalanga, to get to the podium. Advocate Ramatikiti, the platform is yours.
Just to start by acknowledging our JP Mphahlele, all the justices that are here with us, and all the colleagues from the magistracy, members of SAWLA. I would also want to specifically greet the President for national and also province that are here, and also the family of the JP. Say welcome to Mpumalanga. Is the province where we say is from the rising sun. And also like to, I had the acting JP mentioning, DJP mentioning the issue of the aircons. Yes, indeed. We are responsible, we are dealing with the issue. There was a cable theft, but as you would know, there are processes involved. We still have to have the police investigate, but they are done. Now we are busy with the request, so we are hoping by next week things will be back to normal. But having said that, today we gather here to commemorate this momentous occasion, to celebrate the 100 years of women in law, to honor the remarkable lady that we have in front of us, Judge President Mphahlele. So it is truly a privilege to stand before you on this historic day. 100 years ago, the legal profession opened doors to women, allowing them to pursue their passion for justice and equality within the realm of the law. Since then, women have made significant strides, breaking the barriers, shattering the glass ceilings in the pursuit of justice and equality to law. This has not been an easy walk. It's still a challenge. You would have read when Advocate Mphahlele was doing her opening remarks that all those aspects that led to where we are today was not an easy walk to follow. It still is an aspect where we're still facing issues of patriarchy, So I stand here before you. I'm called a friend of SAWLA. I'm one of those that support and make sure that everything that what SAWLA is doing, we support as the Department of Justice. As it has been indicated, this is something that was started by the former minister and now Ambassador Bridget Nabandla to ensure that we enhance access to justice by promotion and, elevating the role that women have to play in the legal fraternity. In January, we hosted a commemoration of 30 years where we invited various organizations within the legal fraternity. So in part of organizing that, I was invited for a radio interview, and they were asked me, what are you doing in Mpumalanga to enhance, women equality within the legal fraternity? And my answer was very simple. It was just after they've announced to JP that, look, we have a JP Mphahlele, she's a woman. We have our Chief Magistrate, Tonjeni, she's a woman. We have our Regional Court President, she's a woman. At that stage, we had the DPP, who was a woman as well. And I said I give myself 100% in that as a province. We are led by capable women. And today we are here, JP, to pledge our support to you, to say, I know we were in a meeting yesterday, we have challenges we acknowledge, but we will work with you to ensure that we enhance access for women, children, the LGBTIQ plus communities. So we need to hold hands, and it's something that we can do, JP. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the dramatization. Thank you. I guess when you were citing some of the examples, you chose to limit yourself, legal fraternity or the members of the judiciary. Imagine how rich your list would have been had you gone out, talk about the Speaker of the Legislature, the executive head, we're talking of the Premier. Indeed, our province is rich. But for today, perhaps it does make sense that we look at those who are in the legal fraternity. As I continue, I will be introducing to you some of the important guests. And I think this is the right opportunity for me to introduce you to those that I labeled as we started as the Constitutional Court Bench of Mpumalanga. Ladies and gentlemen, to the left of the Judge President, you have Judge Mphahlele. Judge Mphahlele, you can wave to the gallery. Thank you. And to my right, you got Judge Manke. Further to my left, I'm trying to come in order of seniority, you got Judge Vukeya. You can wave. And then to my further right, a little bit in hiding, is Judge Langa. I don't know if waving alone will make the members see you. Can you see them, Judge Langa? Yeah, there you go. I'm not hiding. And then second last, you got acting Judge Roloff over there. You can wave, you are not in hiding. And lastly, I think you may have to walk a little. Oh, okay, fine. Before I even come to Judge Mphaka, there is Judge Msevi. She may not be hiding from you, but she's definitely hiding from me. Where are you, my sister? Oh, there you go. That's acting Judge Msevi. And then lastly, well hidden from you, is the acting Judge Mphaka. Walk a little bit. No, this is not Judge Mphaka, it's Judge Lang. Next to him is There you go. Thank you, my brothers. You can take your seats. So all the judgments that you will be getting from this division, be it Mbombela main seat or Middleburg local seat, they will be handed down by these brothers and sisters of mine. Thank you. Can I now move on to ask Advocate Mphahlele, who is the Acting Director of Public Prosecution here in Mpumalanga, to ascend to the podium and have your message of support. Advocate, the platform is yours.
Good morning, Honorable Judge, President, and all judges of this division, the members of the public, and also members of the legal profession. To you all, good morning. I'm standing before you to come and give a message of support on behalf of the National Prosecuting Authority in the Mpumalanga Division. I am convinced that if this function or event was held last year, it would have been very appropriate because my predecessor is Advocate Tanyani, a woman of capability, an admitted advocate of the High Court, who was the head of prosecutions in this division. But nothing is lost. I'm a progressive man. I support all progressive agenda to advance all the causes on behalf of our women. I want to comment about something, JP, which we have said and which is always stuck with me. I'm not sure whether the persons in whose presence you said it will still remember it, but I want to repeat it here in the presence of all the persons here, including your family, that it is upon each and every practitioner to remember his or her oath of office on a daily basis when they conduct their legal functions. When we are admitted, we're required to make an oath in public to carry our functions or duties truthfully and according to the dictates of the law. And I want to make a plea as we celebrate the 100 years of women in law and also your appointment to this highest position, judicial position in the country, that it is upon us all as practitioners to conduct ourselves ethically, being mindful of our oath of office, and also to impart that principle to the young lawyers and to would-be lawyers who are still in training. Through you, Judge President, on a daily basis, be it in court or in meetings, you have always lived up to this principle by treating people equally and fairly. according to the facts of whatever were the circumstances of a case before you. And for that, we appreciate you. I also want to say that we have confidence in you as members of the management in the NPA in this division. We are ready and willing to support you in your efforts to take the justice to the people. You know what our court roles look like, particularly in respect of the so-called gender-based violence matters. And we are willing to listen to you and other stakeholders so that this division can become a shining example. In conclusion, I want to say, Rebe Pule, Kamukupa Wakoko, Orogudish, the level.
Thank you so much, Advocate Ntule from the NPA. I like it so much when you talk about the support you have been giving and you undertake to give to the judge president of this division. Of course, that's a great challenge to us. You can also be rest assured that as members of the judiciary serving under the JP, we are also giving her that support. She deserves it. And in fact, I can also assure you that we as members of the judiciary, we believe that our service as members of the judiciary, it's a calling. The more we support our judge president, then we adhere to the calling that we have, which is a high calling to serve the people of Mpumalanga. There's no way we can do great service to our people, members of the public, without having to support the one who is leading the judiciary. And on that note, we thank you for your words of support, sir. I will proceed to call on one of the progressive women from the Legal Practice Council, none other than Ms. Mabudusha, who is a director of the Mpumalanga Legal Practice Council. Ms. Mabudusha, the platform is yours.
Good morning. All protocol is it. Would like to actually extend my apologies for being a little bit late this morning, JP, to you especially. I had challenges which involved this court course, which I had to attend to this morning. I also want to extend my greetings to the room, legal practitioners, all seniors, also to the magistrates, but in general. Good morning and greetings. I had actually prepared a very long speech, but I see Mr. Ramatsiki beat me to it with the whole introduction of 100 years. So I'm going to be very short and straight to the point. I am honored and blessed to be in this province. I'm not from this province, but being part of the legal profession serving under the Mpumalanga province, it's a great honor for me, especially because of the people that lead, JP being one of them. I remember the first time we were introduced JP, it was via a meeting and we were online. And because I'm from Mphahlele, it was assumed that somehow we know each other. JP, we as the Legal Practice Council, we want to thank you for contributing so largely into the profession, serving and sitting on that bench with so much gratitude and pride and honor. I am humbled to be surrounded by this greatness, and I extend this from the executive officer together with the chairperson of the legal practice to say that we are very much honored to be led by women of this nature in the profession. I also want to send a message of support to SAWLA. We do extended this invite because I'm pressed for time and I don't want to be long. I want to say thank you, even though I still have a chief receipt for not allowing me to be a member. But nevertheless, I want to thank you for arranging this. I want to say that I personally, I am very proud of the organization, and it is a great thing and an achievement for you guys to be celebrating 100 years. That's a milestone. It's no child's play. And from the Legal Practice Council side, one of our mandates, as we all know, is to ensure transformation in the profession. We are very far from that, but bit by bit we'll get there. It's still a journey, but together I believe that we will get there. However, I must say that the scales are starting to balance. Not yet, but we get it there. So thank you, JP, and thank you so much for the invite. And that will go. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Mapudusha. Without any waste of time, I'll move on to the next speaker. That will be Ms. S. Letiba Nkosi, who is a provincial coordinator of SAC IAWJ in Mpumalanga and also a magistrate in Mashishi. Ms. Letiba Nkosi, the platform is yours.
Thank you, Program Director. Guest of honor, family of our guest of honor, honorable guests, and all protocol observed, I greet you all. I'm honored and privileged to present a message of support to you, Judge President Mphahlele, on behalf of South African chapter of International Women Judges Association, SAC IAWJ. But how do you present a message of support to the Judge President, a person I look up to in terms of my personal goals and aspirations? Whether I reach that level in my career in the future is a story for another day. What you have achieved is an achievement not only for yourself, but also for all women in Mpumalanga province and the country at large. It is something to be celebrated and be proud of. This is where the feeling of me being privileged to be at this platform at this moment comes from. As SAC IAWJ, we congratulate you on your appointment. Einstein once said, I quote, "You have to learn the rules of the game, and then you have to play better than anyone else." There's no better person befitting this quote than you, JP. No doubt that the first part of the quote is well covered. Law and the rule of law is certainly within your grasp. You have the experience, the skill, and the courage to deal with legal matters. As SAC IAWJ, we certainly believe in those abilities, and that most importantly, you will serve your office with utmost decorum and commitment to guide the legal fraternity and handle the wide scope of legal matters brought to your office with wisdom and integrity to ensure that the wheels of justice reigns supreme. Of course, the second part of the quote speaks to your leadership to move the province forward from your role. We will be more than willing to provide you with support at any given time. We believe in your ability to reach out to as many stakeholders as possible to ensure that the decorum of the legal field is maintained and sustained, so that the people of this province, Mpumalanga province, will believe in the rule of law and have confidence in the justice system through your leadership. We wish you all the best in your position, Judge President Mphahlele. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. About our JP, we agree with you fully. One thing that I like about this province, it's not only the women who are progressive or in success, but also that the women of this province are very straightforward witnesses when they appear in court. And I will share a little bit of what I'm talking about. I mean, I, for one, and a number of my colleagues here, we have had the privilege of having worked in other provinces. But there's no better province to have been a judicial officer in than here in Mpumalanga. The trials thereof, very quick, very quick. I'm talking of this doctor. She happened to be say his or her name, who was busy cross-examining this doctor. And you know, when trying to impress a client, what the attorneys can do. And the question was about, how sure are you that the deceased was dead at the time you were conducting the postmortem? And this doctor said, look, I had his brain in a jar just next to me as I was conducting the postmortem. And then the lawyer went on to say, but isn't it possible, can you exclude the possibility that he may still have been alive at that stage? And the witness, poor doctor, stood there, lower jaw hanging open in shock, surprise of the kind of question. And after a few seconds, she answered, yes, you're right. He may have been alive, practicing law somewhere in this province. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will move on to the next speaker. That is a representative of the student chapter of SAWLA. I will be calling Ms. Mphahlele, who is the treasurer of SAWLA in Mpumalanga, the student chapter at the University of South Africa. Ms. Mphahlele, the platform is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet the judges, all members of the legal fraternity, guests and family members present today. My name is Mrs. Mphahlele. I'm from the SAWLA student chapter, MP. I am an LLB student with the University of South Africa. I would like to thank the SAWLA Mother Body for giving us the opportunity to be part of the 100-year celebration and the honoring of Judge President S.S. Mphahlele. It is such an honor to be here today. Today we gather to celebrate a significant milestone and the history of law. 100 years since the admission of women to the legal profession. It is a momentous occasion to reflect on the progress made and the pioneers who have paved the way for equality and justice. In 1923, Irene Antoinette Geffen made history as the first female lawyer admitted to the bar in the council. Her courage, determination, and resilience broke many barriers and inspires generations of women to pursue their dreams and goals. Fast forward in 2023, we honor Judge President S.S. Mphahlele, who shattered another glass ceiling by becoming the first female judge president appointed in the Mpumalanga Division of High Court. Her achievements symbolizes the strides women have made in the legal field, proving that gender should never be a barrier to success. However, amidst celebration, we must acknowledge the challenges that still persist. Despite the progress, accessing legal education remains a hurdle for many aspiring female lawyers. Financial assistance is often scarce, leaving talented individuals without the means to pursue their studies. Furthermore, graduates face difficulties in obtaining articles, hindering their ability to kickstart their careers and contribute fully to the legal profession. This disparity not only affects individual women, but also deprives our society of diverse perspectives and voices in the legal system. To address these challenges and ensure equal opportunities for all aspiring lawyers, we must take action. First, the government must expand financial assistance programs to support women from diverse backgrounds in pursuing legal education. Scholarships, grants, and mentorship initiatives can provide much needed resources and guidance. Secondly, there should be concerted efforts to create support within the legal profession, where women are valued and respected for their contributions, by promoting diversity and gender equality. We can build a stronger, more equitable legal system that serves the needs of all members of society. As we celebrate 100 years of women in law, let us recommit ourselves to creating a future where aspiring lawyers, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to succeed and make a positive impact on our legal system and society as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Malepe. The next speaker is Ms. Delia Kutsie. There should have been a video prepared for this speaker, but it looks to me I will be calling somebody to read her speech instead.
Voting has started.
Okay.
It is an immense privilege to address key concerns regarding my experience as a Mpumalanga. And to share with you my life movement on Mpumalanga for every woman working to justice system at the start of my career. I became a prosecutor. And I told you here, I was with the prosecution system, and culture and wisdom. I quickly focused on the statistics and practicing my work and applied for all results. I was appointed as candidate to and a big firm in the career. I was one of the first female candidate attorney at this firm and was treated the same as my male colleagues. After completing my articles, I enjoyed the privilege of contacting the firm to soundboard difficult issues later in my legal practice. I finished my articles in November 1984 and had my firstborn in December 1984. At this time, I started with legal matters in Pretoria from home, but moved to Secunda shortly after my husband was appointed a position at SAWLA. I started my practice again in Secunda during 1985 from a home to office built adjacent to our house. The reason for practicing from home was mostly to look after our later 3 children, was also breastfeeding them. It was not easy because the situation needed juggling with attention to them, attending to appointments and drawing up pleadings and documents. My first appearance at court was a motion court application. The court was well attended by male colleagues and with a male magistrate. The application went well, but my stress levels were as high as with an exam. From there on, my practice rapidly started to grow, most probably because of the curiosity of being the first female attorney. The growth of the practice caused my male colleagues to focus on me, and I received warning letters and later applications to have me sit out of home. This I experienced as a witch hunt, as numerous nursery schools and hair saloons operated from home. After a year of battling to practice at home, I surrendered and moved to an office in central Secunda. The focus of the attorneys who wanted me to stop practicing, seeing me as a fly in the ointment, backfired as the office grew more rapidly, and I could then afford a receptionist and a typist. Before the last mentioned appointments of staff, I typed all my pleadings, documents and letters myself. I had to visit the post office and deliver all pleadings to counterparties and court all by myself. My first experience with typing was on an old Olivetti machine. That will now be considered as an antique. Later, huge computers came at hand. No emails existed, only faxes. My cell phone was as large as a brick. I could later practice with a candidate attorney appointed every year. It was a privilege to send attorneys into practices, giving them as much experience possible in criminal law, civil matters, applications, and drawing up of documents and contracts. My focus was also on my children, because one easily loses your touch with them while chasing one's career. So I practiced during weekends until 1 or 2 a.m. on Saturday morning in order to attend sport events and to attend to the daily duties of a mom. On Sunday mornings, I started to work at 4 a.m. and then be at home at 8 a.m. in order to attend church. During the week, I was burning the midnight oil, drawing up pleadings and documents. I opened a circuit office in Keynote, and my juggling became more intense. But then I could not do without the moral and tangible support of my husband, and he also played a huge role in the upbringing of our 3 children. My experience in developing skills and court efficiency is that we women must never let go. Do not skip research for matters. Take notice of good court pleadings and documents drawn up by other attorneys. Always be on your front feet and be aware of colleagues who would enjoy beating you in court. Take up the challenge and dare your counterparty back. Unfortunately, I cannot report that everything is all equal at court. A female attorney very often still has to deliver with even greater effort at court representation in order to achieve the same result as a male attorney. Some male magistrates are not as welcoming of female attorneys in his court as were the male attorneys. This tendency can only positively affect us women by delivering work better, being more effective, and thereby preventing wrong. Good luck with all the women colleagues. We can all help change attitudes and change preconceived ideas.
Thank you. Let's that presentation is sharing of experience by the first woman legal practitioner coming from this province, Mpumalanga. And unfortunately, due to other commitments, she was not able to join us, but she wished she could be with us. Hearing her share her difficulties in this profession, it's very touching. And it's a challenge to those of us who still work in the courtrooms, that we need to see to it that we make it easy for our women colleagues. That is a challenge, and I am confident that under your leadership, Judge President, we are going to break these walls, because we can't let them stay unchanged. We can't let the situation continue unchanged. I'm also glad that much of what she's talking about belongs to history. But like she hinted, there's still much more expectation from the general public and some of us. When a person appearing in court, it's a female practitioner. Surely it shouldn't be like this. Thank you so much. In your absence, Mrs. Delia Kutia, we appreciate this. We'll move on. Item number 5, to congratulatory message on behalf of the 6th legislature. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard as I was making a remark to Advocate Ramatikiti that the province is rich in that we got progressive women in various sectors, even in the legislature. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Honorable Makhosazana Masilela, the Speaker of the Provincial Legislature here in Mpumalanga. Madam, the floor is yours.
Program Director, Honorable Acting Deputy Judge President, TV Rachi Fumo of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court, our guest of honor, Honorable Judge President, SS Mphahlele of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court, our keynote speaker, Judge Lindiwe Vukeya of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court, all members of the judiciary and magistracy, provincial coordinators of the South African chapter of the International Association of Women Judges, Magistrate Smangele Nkosi and Ms. Miriam Hoboti. First female to be admitted as a legal practitioner in Mpumalanga, Ms. Delia Kutia, President of the South African Women Lawyers Association, Ms. Nomaswazi Shabanundawe, Provincial Chairperson of the South African Women Lawyers Association, Advocate Mphahlele, and members of the SAWLA, members of the legal fraternity, academics, officials from Department of Justice and Constitutional Development and National Prosecuting Authority. Distinguished guests, good morning, Sanbonani. It is my singular pleasure to have received invitation to be part of this important occasion, celebrating 100 years of women in law and honoring one of our own, Honorable Judge President Sikhupuche Mphahlele. We are pleased that even whilst we approach the end of our term in office as the 6th Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, the South African Women Lawyers Association, known as SAWLA, saw our presence still relevant for this august occasion. In this regard, we hope that all the patriotic women and men present will turn out to cast their vote on 29 May 2024 to ensure we safeguard and enhance the democratic experiment we call South Africa. We begin by having the pleasure to congratulate Judge President on your appointment to the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court. It is indeed an historic appointment and a historic occasion in the context of our history of racial exclusion and dehumanization that created a bifurcated society along the lines of human and non-humans, white over black. It is also a historic occasion in the context of a society historically structured by the logic of patriarchy and intersectionality oppression, which created a society with subhuman categories, which dictated those rationally capable of occupying such a position. We are to this extent not convinced to celebrate the achievements of an individual. However, the successful collective prosecution of a struggle for the total of liberation of blacks in general and Africans particularly, from political, economic, cultural, and epistemic subjection. We are enjoyed by the prophetic words of Martin Luther King, who stated, "We are all caught up in a network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be." Program Director, according to the organizers, an expectation was made that will reflect on the state of the legal apparatus in South Africa, to make reflection on our role and contribution as a body responsible for lawmaking in the province. Furthermore, questions were raised on the role law can play towards transformation of society and the development of law itself. Since these are questions raised by SAWLA, a predominantly women-based organization, the problem of gender shall be a running thread throughout the reflections. As a legislature concerned with the political, social, economic, and cultural well-being of our society, we have observed through the debates towards the upcoming national general elections that the foundational logic that constitutes South Africa are resurgent and under public scrutiny. The transformative capacity of our legal framework, which is the Constitution, as the discursive order is being scrutinized. As the legislative sector, we have over the past few years made attempts to assess whether the laws enacted since 1994 have been able to transform society effectively and in ways that respond to historical injustice. Through our reading, these questions are more polarized today than ever before. In the legal, academic, political, and within civil society, new questions are emerging, which reopen the debate around the post-1994 constitutionalist order and the quest for the liberation of the oppressed, meaning questioning whether the post-1994 constitutional order has been a continuity or discontinuity of the history of colonial conquest, settler colonialism and white supremacy, whether the current political and legal apparatus has ably restored fundamental change that haunts present South Africa. We, however, make the argument that reopening these questions enables a reimagining of a new social order and alternative jurisprudence and underscores redistributive justice. Our current context is faced with persistent and resistant opportunities from the apartheid era. We are confronted with neo-colonial social, cultural, and economic institutions that reproduce current power relations. To this extent, current social faulty lines are deepening poverty, unemployment, and inequality in racialized class and gender terms. While South Africa has seen many positive changes over the past 30 years, to others, it remains a space of incomplete freedom and the unfinished business of decolonization. The scanning of our environment indicates a society whose legal and political opinion is divided by anti-transformationists who wish the Constitution play a limited role and accommodate the position and privileges of the former ruling elites. There are the optimists who dominate and occupy most spaces, who argue the Constitution is transformative and adequate legal instrument to achieve radical break with the past, that any shortcomings are a result of poor implementation or need to be tested in law. There are also the skeptics who include legal scholars and academics concerned with so-called open code worship, close quote, of legal order, arguing the Constitution has deep liberal roots that need to be examined, deep Western roots that also need examination, cautions of an ever celebration of Constitution. Lastly, are constitutional abolitionists who question whether the Constitution is appropriate mechanism to respond to historical injustice. They pose wholesale challenge to the philosophical, historical, and cultural basis of Constitution from the perspective of silenced, experienced people and knowledges. These tensions need to be openly acknowledged, productively engaged by practitioners, academics, students, politicians, and civil society. Our differences are preliminary, informed by our ideological, political, and cultural standpoints. Our Constitution is our fundamental political and legal foundation governing norms, values, and culture which should inform law and justice. Critics question whether we have an empty Constitution that says we are equal, when in reality are not equal. However, our aspiration is that the Constitution as the discursive order reflects the political imaginary, the form of social and moral consciousness, which shapes and limits how we think and talk. Its transformative measures should be whether it dismantles the roots of settler colonialism that underpins the continuities and discontinuities between colonial apartheid past and post-1994 constitutional present. In this way, reassert the struggle for liberation as an ongoing contention against the liberation sentiment, which privileges radical integration into a pre-existing Western system. We therefore require a legal order that reconstructs not only the cultural dignity, but the material and existential integrity. Whilst we have a post-apartheid constitution, do we have post-conquest constitution, which breaks with structures of white supremacy at a legal, political, cultural, and knowledge level. The end of apartheid was not the end of white supremacy. Colonial social relations are reignite every day across a wide spectrum of institutions and spaces in public and private sectors, even under constitutionalisms and a black majority rule. The phenomenon of a negotiated settlement meant the old order was accommodated rather than abolished in the making a new South Africa, reproducing states of unfreedom. In this regard, this negotiated settlement suspended some problems for future generations. Thus, we argue transformative constitutionalism can only ameliorate rather than eradicate the root causes of injustice. It cannot confront radical capitalism that reproduces inequality. The challenge for us and for future generations is to create a truly black legal analysis and practice against the current white epistemic authority that defines intellectual problems, validates perspectives, and sets the agenda. In thinking through next 100 years, we should construct a robust democracy that doesn't limit possibility but confront historical problems. Aside a politics of a feminine that patriarchizes through principles of care and reproduction that are collectively produced, against individualist, market-based, rationalist, and rights-based consciousness, based on masculinist politics of a global capitalist colonial world, and struggle for power that controls our own system and institutions. While judges work through constitution, there should be those questioning and working on responding to other questions so that we never become a totalitarian state. We should take serious building a living constitution, the promises of equality, and a rule of law that centers both accountability and a redistribution of wealth. Our legal practitioners should break away from colonial white male-dominated paths to post-colonial paths. Our education system must question the systemic cultural miseducation of African students due to structural hegemony of West. And finally, there should be a litigation of the apartheid crimes against humanity for reparations and justice for affected families whose lives were destituted by our painful history. Consequently, the future is through growing and fundamental remarking of the place we know as South Africa, which includes restoration, repair, and restitution of land, impaired sovereignty, and a cultural, spiritual, and psychological rebuilding of an African personality and rejection of white supremacy in substantive and material ways. It is dismantling the structures, processes, dynamics, systems, and ways of being that produces, generates, and creates racial, class, and gender-based domination. By way of conclusion, Black feminist thinker and civil rights activist Grace Lipox challenges us when she states, how we change the world and think about changing the world has to change, which must include not just changing institutions, but ourselves. It must also include growing our souls, changing what we say, do, think, and imagine. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And for those who may not be aware, I allowed the speaker to carry on because the time we had allocated to her, it's triple the time allocated to the rest. So she was allocated 15 minutes. And she was just about to consume that 15 minutes. when she said, thank you, Program Director. Otherwise, the gavel was about to hit the table. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for those words of support and inspiration. Unless I acknowledge some of the people, the friends of SAWLA at this stage, I may not have time to acknowledge your presence again. Mr. Mkwena, are you here? Mr. J. Mkwena? Right, it's like he didn't make it, but we have Advocate Pingwenya. Will you just rise? There you go. Thank you. He is from the Mpumalanga Society of Advocates, and he's friends of SAWLA, the one you have heard that they support the objectives of SAWLA. Advocate Sikake, are you here? Doesn't look like they made it. It's like some people were warned that our air cons are not working.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, he was here, I'm told. Please bring it to his attention that we did acknowledge him in abstention. Mr. Ramate. Okay, fine. And then lastly, Ms. Dikok. Thank you so much. Ms. Dikok is the chairperson of Mbombela Attorneys Association. Thank you so much. And these are the legal practitioners. There's a saying in the legal practice to the effect that a good lawyer knows the law, but a great lawyer knows the judge. No, the JP says that rule exists only in your circles. Don't bring it to the judiciary. But, well, we really acknowledge and we are very proud of our members of legal fraternity, the legal practitioners. We are as a division because of you. You were there from our infantry stages, and you help us crawling up to the stage where we are. And having said that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to introduce to you the judge, the person that you should know. That's the guest speaker. No, I don't mean that, JP. Right. The person I'm introducing to you had been working in the courtrooms for some time, but she made a breakthrough when she graduated law in 1996, and she started working as a public prosecutor. She did leave, though, to serve articles, and once she was done, she felt that she belongs to prosecution. She went back to prosecute. That was in 1999. She was appointed as a magistrate in 2003, and she was elevated to the rank of regional magistrate in 2015. Prior to that, she also served as a head of office, that is in Leidenburg Magistrate Court. She started acting as a judge in 2018 and was elevated or appointed permanently as a judge of this division in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Judge Lindiwe Vukeya to the podium. Judge Vukeya, the platform is yours. And there's a disclaimer, you don't have
Thank you, Program Director. I must repeat the words that were said by Judge Mphahlele, or the JP, immediately after Judge Rachivumo said, I'm the judge that you should see. She said, you are out of order. We'll get to that, but I would like to welcome all of you and thank you. I feel honored to be standing here in front of you, celebrating 100 years of us women being in the legal practice. And I would also like to thank my brothers and sisters for being here and for supporting me. While I stand here, I know that they are supporting me deep in their hearts. I would like to also welcome the family of Judge President Mphahlele. Family is very, very important to her. I've come to know her and I've come to learn to love my family because of her. We actually know all of you. We know all of you, but we have not seen you. It's our chance today to at least maybe we'll get 5 minutes to sit down with you and talk and get to know you more. I would like to welcome other members of the judiciary who are here present, Ms. Tuletu, the Chief Magistrate, Ms. Mabito, and Ms. Litiba. I would also like to welcome the practitioners, legal practitioners, the admin staff, and everybody who is here today. Now, I quoted the words of Claire Booth Luce when she said, because I am a woman, I must make unusual efforts to succeed. If I fail, no one will say she doesn't have what it takes. They will say, women do not have what it takes. A close quote. Now, I chose her because she was a brave woman. She was a journalist during the wartime. And I chose her words because they are the truth. She worked in circumstances where normally men would work. She worked there and she triumphed. I chose her words because I said they are the truth. Women must make unusual efforts on their paths to success. We always have to go an extra mile to succeed. That takes from waking up early in the morning, preparing the kids, preparing food for everyone while they sleep. And they wake up to find everything ready. They, pretend to be helping wherever they can. Everything else that happens in between until the last minute that everyone is in bed, that woman cannot go to sleep until everyone has been taken care of. Now, we are gathered here today to celebrate the 100th anniversary of women being permitted to practice law within the Republic of South Africa. The first law passed which permitted women to enter the legal profession was the Women's Legal Practitioners Act 7 of 1923, which was enacted in law or as law on 10 April 1923. After the promulgation of this act, women could be admitted as either attorneys and advocates, notaries and conveyancers, etc. Although this was the case with women, the legal profession was introduced long before 1923. It was actually introduced by, or rather in 1652 when Jan van Riebeeck arrived. We were told that he arrived in 1652. When he arrived, people like Jacob van Heeren, a white male, became the first advocate to be admitted in 1688. Maurits van Aden was the first attorney in 1715. 222 years later, after the first white men entered the profession, the first group of black legal professionals came in, and that was in 1910. These are Alfred Mangena, who came in July 1910, Pixliga Isaga Simi in December 1910, George Diklo Monso followed in 1911. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, I'm going to be long. I was told to stand here for 20 minutes. I prepared a speech for 2 hours just in case somebody says what I said and I break it, like I make it smaller. So yes, brace yourselves. 13 years later, in 1923, the first women were allowed in the profession. The first female advocate to join was Miss Irene Geffen, followed by Constance Mary Hall in 1923. Mary Hall was admitted as an attorney in the same year. Between 1923 and 1962, no black female professional was admitted until 40 years later, from 1923. That's when Miss Zanunisa Wool joined the profession and became the first black woman, followed by Miss Desiree Field. In Mpumalanga, we saw Miss Delia Kutia also becoming the first attorney in the province. It is clear that women, black or white, were considered inferior to humanity in general. This created a notion, or maybe a conception, that men were superior humans than women in the profession. I would echo the words of Advocate Mugai Toby when he spoke to the Daily Maverick and said that it's as if women are not persons. In terms of race, white women were at least ahead of us, black women, and this meant that black women suffered 2 strikes. One for being black and one for being female. The purpose of today's celebrations is to confirm that we are here to stay. We have been here for 100 years and we are not going anywhere. Men must get used to the idea that we have arrived. Men must get used to the idea that we have arrived, and in fact, we arrived 100 years ago. We appreciate the men who are with us in this room to celebrate with us. This is beautiful. I understand there's also men who support SAWLA, which is an organization for women attorneys. Some men are not selfish. Not all of them are selfish. Some are, I must say. As much as some women can be selfish sometimes. We must not be misunderstood, I mean. We do not want to be men. We are equal and should not be discriminated against. That's what we want. Advocate Mujanku Kumbi said, I quote, "Most people say women want to get out of the kitchen, but I think what women really want is to have choices. A choice to go out and work and to have the support of society, or the choice to remain at home. That is the bottom line." What is important from what I've extracted here is that we want support. We want to work and we want support. What I'm saying is that women today must not be misunderstood. Those who want to work want to achieve greatness. As women, we endure endless challenges and hardships to get to where we want to be. An African girl, I think we all relate to this story. An African girl must first struggle with trying to keep her afro at school. We've seen many times on TV, girls taking a stand against schools that do not want them to grow in Afro. Afro is a natural asset of one's body. We are born with it. We are born with hair like this. But if you're a young girl, you have to struggle to find a way to attend school with your Afro, which does not happen with other kids. That's at the point where, as a young girl, you start experiencing segregation. That child will still need to cope with other challenges of life, like having a first period, while at school in some instances. That child must still go through this process every month for at least 5 days in a month, sometimes without even having sanitary towels. She's expected to perform equal with young boys of her age who are not going through periods. Remember the time in our lives when girls were expelled from school when they got pregnant? Do you remember that? Do you remember if boys were expelled from school that made the girl pregnant? No. What happened is the boy child would make her pregnant and he would continue with school, while the girl child must take care of the child and sometimes be refused admission back to the school because it was said she would influence other kids. These are examples of what women go through before achieving success. That is why such achievements must be celebrated. I am proud of SAWLA for organizing this event because we have to celebrate these events more often than not. Nevertheless, when the child progresses in life through some of these hardships and makes it through in university, sometimes graduates with LLB, cum laude, she still needs those articles and that internship contract to begin her career. Guess what? There's a man standing there asking for sexual favors. It's called sexual harassment. I can't give you the contract unless you do 1, 2, 3. Men should stop this. There's someone somewhere there demanding sexual favors before giving the child contract. The question is, when will it end? What I'm trying to say is that women experience sexual harassment in a work environment which is sometimes difficult to even report because the perpetrator is someone in a position of power and no one will believe that person or the victim if she reports the incident. Please understand me clearly. I am not saying that men do not go through the same problems as women, but today is all about us. I think that you are here to just listen to us and not to judge us. We are not going to judge you. There's still childbirth, nurturing and caring for children, making sure they are ready for school. I've already mentioned that. I kuningi shem. I futhi kuningi ya. Ngakhuluma kushonilanga. Still trying to say sindlula ezintweni ezinzima. Kodwa we remain standing. I'm almost done. When the woman progresses in life and gets leadership position, she still has to deal with male chauvinistic behavior. This behavior may represent a hostile envy of women. It may also represent power and dependency conflicts related to masculine self-esteem. Male chauvinism is a maintenance of fixed beliefs, an attitude of male superiority associated with overt and covert depreciation of women. This is the biggest problem faced by women in a work environment. Women who are leaders, women who are running businesses out there, and women who are in charge. Again, when will it end? Michelle Obama's view on the subject is that strong men who are truly role models don't need to put down women to make themselves feel powerful. People who are truly strong lift others up. People who are truly powerful bring others together. Now, how can I forget the woman against woman hostility? Many people know this kind of hostility. I personally like the concept of fixing each other's crowns as queens. We are all queens, and if you as a queen See another Queen's crown tipped to the side. Why don't you just fix it so that we can all shine? Oprah Winfrey's words were that the worst thing that we can do as women is not to stand up for each other. And this is something we can practice every day, no matter where we are and what we may believe. It is both possible, and more importantly, it becomes powerful to come together in common purpose and common effort. This is what we do in the division. You may have seen Judge Marcus stood up to fix my collar. That's what we're talking about. I'm not just shining for myself. I'm representing the division. So if I'm here representing the division, and if there's something that needs to be fixed, anyone in the division can help me fix it. Judge Mphahlele did say that you are your sister's, and I'm continuing on those words. Almost. We currently have 2 female judge presidents in the country. Has been 3 so far. Judge President Mbombela served in the Free State between 2018 and 2021. I want to say we are moving slowly, but we are getting there. I am saying this because we are looking forward to the grand entrance of the first female Chief Justice of South Africa, Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, after August 2024. It will be a very proud moment for women in the profession and all women in the country. The train is in motion. Walala wena wasala. Before my brother Judge Vincent Rashid Gumo removes me from this podium, I would like to tell you about the first female judge president in the province. She may be the 3rd in the country, but she is the first in our province, and we are proud. Let me first tell you like a woman's place is in the kitchen were served during those times. Deborah was full of courage. She had amazing wisdom and had leadership qualities that assisted her in serving her people and inspiring them. The people would stop listening to God. They would stop following God, and God would stop protecting them. And he would let enemies defeat them until he decided to send Deborah. Deborah knew what to say at all times. And God knew that Deborah was a good woman. That is why he chose her to help people of Israel. And he told her what to say and what to do. That is our Judge President, Mphahlele. From today onwards, you can call her Deborah. I will not mind. On her behalf, I will not mind. Because she is a woman full of faith. Before everything and everyone, she loves God. She is a praying woman. She is full of courage and wisdom. And she is more than capable of leading us to victory, like Judge Deborah did with the Israelites. She listens. That's the most important part of her character. She listens. My first encounter with JP Mphahlele was when she appeared on TV. She became my celebrity judge. When she dealt with the coffin case, she displayed that she was very knowledgeable and informed. She did a thorough research on the subject she dealt with in that coffin case. She was full of courage and she was fearless. I loved that about her. When I met her in person, she intimidated me. You can see I'm very short. I will not say anything about her, but I can only say this about myself. I'm short, and I'm easily intimidated. When once I got to know her, I think it was between 2018, 2019, 2020, she became a sister I never had. She told me to come out of the shell that I had locked myself in, which she called the cocoon, and she helped me through the process. She was quick to notice the subjects where I was lacking, and like is a leader, she held me by the hand and saw through. She told me to pray about any situation in my life, whether good or bad. I told her, I am unable to pray, JP. I speak to God only when I'm in the shower. She encouraged me to pray more and to trust God. She does not do that just with me. She does that with all the judges, the support staff, the cleaners, security officers, even the legal practitioners. She is amazing and phenomenal. She has a good sense of humor, which is not easy to notice, but it's huge. First, she will say, Lindiwe, you are out of order. You see now what she said there. She will then laugh the loudest. And she will take the joke further and develop it into something big. You will still laugh about it for the coming 3 months. If anyone wants to dispute the zebra issue, no, you see? She has a good sense of humor. And it takes a person who has a good sense of humor to read a joke. God save her for us. God save you, Judge President Mphahlele, so we can see his glory through you, and so that we can all shine and take the office of the Chief Justice to greater heights. Bathi, okuboshiwe emhlabeni, kuboshiwe nasezulwini. You have been ordained happy. That is our ultimate goal. We have to lift each other up and work side by side to bring justice in our beloved country. God bless you. You were such a nice audience. You were good. Have a beautiful future ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard for yourselves. And Madam Speaker, this is our judge. We are not releasing her to go and campaign for any party. She remains here. We are very proud of you, my sister. And to the JP, every word that she was saying, we as members of the judiciary gave her the note. So she was speaking on our behalf. I suppose you will understand what they mean when they say law is the only game wherein the best players sit on the bench. Thank you so much, Judge Fouquet. And on that note, the last two people I just wish to recognize, members of SAWLA, the advocates, Advocate Krelen Kotse, and can you just wave? There you go. And Attorney may speak. These are the members of the SAWLA committee, and I'm picking them up. Sorry, I'm not just using your name, sorry. But I'm picking up these two also for the reason that they have had a session to serve as members of the judiciary. And talking of you reminds me of what they say when they say, win some, lose some, but get paid for all. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we were able to keep to the time because we are nearing the end. It is an honor and privilege for me to invite to the podium Advocate Mphahlele to have to do the handover to the JP token of appreciation. Advocate Mphahlele, the platform is yours again.
Good afternoon once more. With due respect, we would like to, I know it's not an easy thing that needs to be done, to request through you, acting Deputy Church President, that we request the guest of honor to please come to the podium to express our gratitude as the South African Women Lawyers Association. We would also like to say thank you, the Mphahlele family for supporting the way you come in your numbers. We are really, really honored that you came. That we mentioned this. Judge Bukaya, you have said that she may be number 3 in the country, but as Mpumalanga province, we are claiming her as the first judge president of the Mpumalanga division of the country. We will start with the following gifts. Thank you so much. We would like to present this one just to show that this is from SAWLA. All of us from national and provincial would like to say congratulations. We honor you. To the JP. Thank you so much. You remember the acting deputy judge president mentioned that in the public of Mpumalanga, the arms of the state are led by 3 women. We have the judge president leading the judicial arm of the state. We have, thank you very much for that. They must look like and then we have the executive arm of the state, and then we also have the legislative arm of the state, which is led by our Honorable Speaker, Ms. Mphahlele. It is also part of history. It's also part of the 100 years that we spoke about that the AP is here because of us as women leaders, and therefore we honor you. Okay, this one is just a token that she will always remember SAWLA when she's in her office. That's for you, JP. Thank you so much. And the last one. And then this is the last one to say, Mama, we are level.
Wow. Are you sure you're done?
Yeah. We're done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Advocate Mphahlele. Ladies and gentlemen, this time the Judge President will have words to say in response in appreciation of everything. Judge President, over to you.
Thank you, Acting Deputy Judge President. And I think again you're out of order because I was told that I'm only going to accept the gifts. There's nothing about the speech. And I received so much, and I wanted to open the last one as well. I wanted to address you while standing, but I'm overwhelmed. I can't. I do my best. Those who appear in the spot knows I do my best while sitting down. So I'm going to proceed. It's not out of disrespect, but I'll address you seated. And I'm going to open that one as well, because I promise I'm going to declare everything. And SAWLA, you know very well, I'm not easily influenced. That I received the gift has nothing to do with any other thing. You know what I mean. The acting Deputy Judge President, my brothers and sisters with me this morning here on the bench, the Speaker of the 6th Legislature in our province, the beautiful province of Mpumalanga, Advocate Ramatikiti from the Department of Justice. This man, whenever I see him, I smile. I have to say it because he has a check. He has to fix everything around here. So even if I'm down, I pretend as if I'm feeling good for the day. Chief Magistrate Onjeni, all the magistrates in the House, legal practitioners who are here, both advocates and attorneys. And it's unfortunate that we have a smaller venue. I was expecting to see more of our chapter, the students, because this is about them, what we're building now. I call them my 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have much to say. What I wanted to say was much said by those who came before me. And today, as we celebrate women in law and reflecting on the journey of women in the legal profession from the past century, we acknowledge that there are still challenges facing women practitioners today, but the 100 years is worth celebrating. We are celebrating because we are law students, we are professors, we are law teachers and lecturers, we are deans, we are candidate legal practitioners, we are legal practitioners, we are legal advisors, we are regulators, we are prosecutors, we are magistrates, and we are judges. How can I forget the lawmakers? We celebrate those women who came before us, who fought for us to be here today. Especially we want to celebrate those women who are sacrificing every day to make sure that their voices are heard and trying every day to address the plight of women. I'm happy that the Speaker mentioned the role of the legislature, and we really appreciate. And I'm very proud today to celebrate legislation, amongst others, that regulates Muslim marriages, customary marriages, succession in diseased estates, maintenance issues, and family violence-related incidents. All of us, we need to ensure that the rights of every citizen is protected and respected. What's unfortunate is that our lived reality is that we're living in a patriarchal society. I know Judge Bukeya mentioned and touched on it. Patriarchy cannot be uprooted overnight. And we would be fooling ourselves if we think so. Many times, people don't practice what they preach. People will reject patriarchy in all its forms. but what they do says otherwise. This then calls upon us as women not to shy away to fight those incidents. We have to confront these issues. Gender equality requires more than just simply enacting policies. We need to be active in combating stereotypes and prejudices that target women. If you can keep quiet now and listen attentively, and you tell me if you hear any person referring to us of a weaker sex, it's not happening anymore because we raised our voice. If we kept quiet, even today, we would be referred to as a weaker voice. Nobody's referring to us as female judges. When we started, we were referred to, there were judges and female judges. Because as women, we have our own way of addressing issues. We make sure that it's corrected. And nobody's referring to me as a female judge president. I am the judge president because I believe I am capable. We owe it to the next generation. That's why I thought that they will be here in numbers, but unfortunately they are not here, but I will have better engagement with them. It is befitting today. I'm about to finish. I'm not going to take long from now. It is befitting today as we celebrate the rise of women in the leadership of the profession. And this talk, I heard some speakers speaking about shattering the glass ceiling. This, I'm sorry to say this, it's not good, but I have to mention it. It's a reality. When you shatter the glass ceiling, it cuts deep. It hurts. And I'm talking from personal experience. It hurts when you shatter the ceiling and you try your level best to duck around, how to duck those glasses as they come down on you and they're cutting deep. And that's why the question that I raised with SAWLA was, when SAWLA invited me to their meeting, I said to them, you say you support women in leadership, but when the glass ceiling is shattering and it's cutting so deep, you're keeping your distance as women. No one comes to us and asks us, how are we coping? Because you see, when the glass is coming down, it's cutting too deep. And I would like to remind you, all the women here, that take time on your sisters, that you motivated and encourage them to take leadership positions. Take time and speak to them and ask them, how are they coping? Because some of you use the excuse that JP, we thought we're giving you space. Who said I need space? I don't need space. If you are genuine, you will approach us. I'm sorry, this I have to mention because I see many a times we are shy to mention it. And we move on. And what I want to caution women, there's the other thing that we don't speak about, is that, are you writing a note for me?
No.
You're about to be contentious. The last issue that I want to mention as a challenge, especially to women practitioners, that you must be alive to, is that, like I mentioned, patriarchy, we can't uproot it overnight. And Those who believe in patriarchy, they have a way of working through you women so you can work against other women in leadership. Patriarchy is entrenched in them. They work on the minds of some women, and those women will be the ones to stand up and be against the women leaders. And SAWLA and SEC-IAWJ, I'm calling upon you to be alive to it, or we will live to regret. I'm saying to you as we preparing for the generation to come. One strength that we have as women is resilience. I have a long story to tell. My life, it's a very long story, but I prefer not to say much about it today. As a practicing attorney and how I even acted and reached it, it wasn't easy, but resilience is our strength as women, and we must never give up on that. And let me hasten to appreciate progressive men in our lives. I've met in my own family, I was supported by men who are progressive. The church that I attend, I was supported by men. And even here in the profession. So whenever we speak about patriarchy, please let's not paint all men with the same brush. Even when I went for my interview as a JP, some of the people who held me high, who made me sure that I succeed, it was men. So we must just be careful when we speak about issues. Can I move from the serious issues now and say to the women, as we enter this profession, it's called a noble profession, and it's male dominated. One of the speakers mentioned it. We are not here because we want to be men, and we mustn't change. We must still do our hair. We must still do our nails, and we must dress up and show up. We are here because we are capable, not that we must change and behave like men. I will end there and celebrate you all. And to the people of Mpumalanga, I have to confess, when I drive, I'm afraid of heights. And when Judge President Mlambo, I was in Gauteng, he allocated me to come to Mpumalanga. It was a second court. I pleaded with him, and he sent me to Limpopo. And when I came back after some time, I said, no, it's unfair. Everybody has went to Mpumalanga, you have to go. And I was angry with him. I have to confess, I hope he's not listening. I was very angry with him. And I came here. And then I was like, when am I finishing? Because I couldn't drive, coming here, enjoy my drive. And I went back. And one day I was seated there, he came and said, in Mpumalanga, they are calling you to come and act as a JP. And I was like, no, you're not joking. He said, I don't have a say in it. I got the call. You know, like they said, I believe in God. The first point of call, I went to church to one gentleman, he's amongst you. I'm going to introduce him now. And I told him, he believes so much. And he told me something's going to happen by Wednesday. And when I left there, I said, oh, this man, he thinks, and I prayed God to forgive me. And it happened, and I accepted. And starting a new thing in Mpumalanga, helping, assisting, and I fell in love with Mpumalanga. And now if you can see me driving in Schoemanskloof, enjoying the drive, it's not me. And I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for my roots where I come from, because as a puny judge, I was so welcome in Gauteng. And that's why I'm trying to extend the same thing. Maybe at this point, let me acknowledge the wind beneath my wings. That's my family. Can you guys, I am the youngest and I don't usually get this, you know. Can you guys stand up, please, my sisters and my brothers? I come from a very big family. Are some of you not how Kaya and Namuri? While sitting, are you not proud of me, guys? Okay. This is my family. When the glass was cutting and was cutting deep, I was running to them and they made sure that I healed. The gentleman in the I'm colorblind next to Kai, in the tie. You see in the tie, my spiritual guy. Thank you for making time to come here. Yeah, and next to him is my godmother, and all of them. I look like them. Yeah, we are family. We are a very big family. Thank you for coming. Yeah, Thank you. Thank you. It's for the first time I hear my sister praise. I'm like, I'm shocked. This is my court. You can't say I'm out of order. Yeah. Thank you. Maybe just to finish on a lighter note. I'm staying with my granddaughter. Her name is Jacinta. And she was born in 2018. And as she was growing, in 2020, we went into COVID and I was working from home. So last year, she's 5. I'm taking her to the creche before coming to work. She said to me, she has her bestie at creche is Wandimpo. She says to me, she calls me Mama because to her, I'll remain forever young. She said to me, Mama, you must do something about your life. And I was surprised and I said, why? She said, you know, Dimpo's mom is a doctor and she has an office. You must do something. About my life. She said, you can either be a policeman and when I speak about you to my friends, I'll call you a police girl. Or you be a nurse, and when I speak to my friends about you, I'll call you a nurse girl. So unfortunately, she just started school and they opened. I wish she was here to see that I'm doing something about my life. Because to her, I'm a disappointment. I always like her. So on that note, I am really overwhelmed about your gesture, and I really appreciate it. And I hope my family is happy to see that I am in home hands. Thank you, and thanks everybody for all the arrangement. And it would be amiss if I don't mention SAWLA in those organizations are more about the interests of women professionals. We are making it bit by bit, and I assure you, we will reach where we want to. Victory is certain. I am not politicking. Victory is certain for us women practitioners. And I assure all our male counterparts, be not threatened. As women, we are naturals. We'll take care of you. You don't have to worry. Thank you, and thanks everybody.
Thank you.
And I'm looking at my support. They are looking at me like, how can you? I'm sorry. My support staff, I don't know what would I've done without you. You're so supportive. I'm speaking to you, Sidran, as well. You're so supportive. You're taking care of me and my daily life, even sometimes when I feel like we are intruding into my private space. But it's fine. I really appreciate you. And the whole OCJ staff in Middleburg and Mbombela. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, our very own Judge President. You said quite a mouthful. We appreciate it, and we want everyone out there, the family members, to go out knowing that the Judge President has another family right here in Mbombela High Court, right here in this division from Mpumalanga. We are her family. We are the support structure, and JP, we will always stand by you. You have been called by God to serve the people of Mpumalanga. As long as we are by your side to support you, like an incident that once happened when another man was praying, lifting his hands up, the son had to stop. Support staff came and lifted those hands, one on the left, one on the right, to see to it that even though the man was tired, the sun will stop moving so that the chosen nation of God can fight on and deliver on the mission of the day. We are that support structure, and we will keep lifting your hands up to see to it that the sun can stop and you do the mission of God. Thank you so much. Can I ask Ms. Pick, or can I pick up on you to just deliver the vote of thanks, please?
Multiple women, mine is a small task of just thanking everybody. Firstly, JP, thank you for making this possible. Thank you for taking the time. We do appreciate it. Thank you for your noble leadership. We acknowledge it. And then thank you to our program director, our ADJP, Dr. Chibumbu. Thank you so very much. And then the family of JP, thank you so very much for taking the time. Thank you for giving us our JP. Thank you for giving us your daughter. Thank you for raising that daughter for us. We acknowledge you. And then I am not going to thank all the speakers. I think they've been named numerous times, so thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this possible. In particular, I want to thank SAWLA. It's a pleasure for me to stand here on behalf of SAWLA, of course. I want to thank Mphahlele, who made this possible, who did with the organization here. And I want to thank our president, our noble Ms. Shivango in her absence. Then especially I want to name our student chapter. We are proud of you. They make us proud. They are our babies. We raised them. We are proud of you. That speech you gave, young lady, is absolutely not. You make us proud, and you know what? You give us hope for the future. You give us hope for the future. And we are for you. We are here for you. And then I want to also acknowledge the Honourable Speaker. Thank you so very much for your presence, the University of Mpumalanga. And then I was also to thank our partners and sponsors. And then last but definitely not least, Kuliwe and the team. Kuliwe and the team made this possible. Thank you so very much for making this possible. Thank you for all your arrangements. Charlotte, thank you so very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I've always known that my speak is short, but I didn't expect it to be this short. By the way, we had allocated 8 minutes and she utilized only about 2 or 3. Thank you for being short, Ms. Pick. And talking of the students, you heard the JP has got special space for the students. Is Advocate Okaredia here? Young to be and Advocate Boshoff, are you here? Right, fine. The last group of people I wish to acknowledge is members of the media. Often you get ignored. I know that there are people from the SABC, Rise FM, RioJet Media, the Newsroom Africa, Lowfeld. I'm not sure if all of you attend, but these are the members of media who had confirmed. We appreciate your presence. We know there's just very few. This hall cannot accommodate more than 100 people. But we know that this has been broadcast or it's yet to be broadcast to some request you to stand while members of the judiciary, together with the speaker, members of the judiciary followed by the speaker will leave and we'll just get back to where we had started from. My colleagues on the bench here, my colleagues are down there. We will all leave, and can we all remain standing as we leave in that procession? Thank you.